when Dave Rubin talks about well-funded this or that, his Russian money source just dried up, and he's the last person who should be talking about funding sources. And to be honest, Dave, hold on a second. Wait, hold on. Now Ben's jumping. Everybody's jumping. Hold on a second.
Because no one believes your BS anymore. Jesus Christ, these people are so pathetic.
They've been indicted, Rubin. The Tenet Media people were indicted.
I got indicted.
He was not indicted. And it said in the report, if you weren't a smug prick, to quote him earlier,
I didn't say Rubin was indicted. I just said the money dried up.
That Dave Rubin and the others involved did not know about it. And this is why people think you're kind of a jackass.
I'm defending Dave.
Says in the indictment, in the indictment, that they had no knowledge of the money where it was coming from. So don't be a jackass.
I'm defending Dave on that note. But the money dried up.
In this video, David Pakman humiliates Piers Morgan's goons in a 5v1. David Pakman finds himself completely outnumbered on a panel stacked with right-wingers, but instead of backing down, he tears through their nonsense one by one. Dave Rubin just goes into full meltdown mode, while Ben Ferguson just throws weak jabs. And Piers Morgan, as usual, just pretends to be a neutral moderator while running cover for his conservative buddies. And of course, Piers Morgan tries to steer the debate towards hyping up Donald Trump's ridiculous government efficiency plans, but David Pakman shreds the contradictions in real time, leaving the panel just scrambling around. So make sure to watch till the end to see how David Pakman completely humiliates Piers Morgan's goons in a 5v1.
Pacman,
you're being a tool, man.
You are no real Pacman, which I'm quite good at. You know, there's a reason, Piers. There's a reason that everyone hates progressives, and the reason that everyone hates progressives, it's not just that they're wrong about all of the issues and they will lie and their only real goal is power. It's because they're also smug elitists. And Pacman, I did see online the other day, you were crying because your audience is purging you and you're running out of subscribers and you're in a doom loop. And the reason is no one gives, Piers, pardon me, a shit about this woke bullshit anymore. We've had it, and now you guys can sit back and be quiet. You want to talk about people being paid for their ideas?
Just let me address this.
It's you people who have had the entire cultural machine for 20 years. You've had all of entertainment. You have had all of Hollywood. You have had all of music. You've had all your P. Diddy parties and Epstein and everything else. And now enough of us have had it. So crawl back into your little irrelevant cave. It's time, bro.
Can I address any of that, Piers? Is that allowed?
Sure.
Okay. It is absolutely true that in the 48 hours after the election, a lot of very upset leftists started pulling back from political content. I was hit by it.
No, not from political content, from your political content.
I have to be able to talk about it,
them about everything.
I have to be able to talk. I have to be able to get a word in. Unless you just want Dave Rubin to talk. Let me know, Piers.
I love hearing Dave Rubin talk.
I would prefer that.
Thank you, Piers.
No, if there's no rebuttal allowed, then I won't rebut.
You've probably done most of the talking so far, so why don't you do a bit more talking?
I'll say this and then I'll be quiet the rest of the show.
Because Brian hasn't said anything for ages. I want to bring him in.
I want Brian to win. That completely reversed. I do think that it must be that Dave is upset that Brian and I have surpassed him in viewership and subscribers. Because if you just look at the numbers, it lasted 48 hours. They all came back.
I don't even know who this other.
And right here is classic Dave Rubin melting down. Instead of making an actual argument, he just starts rambling like a conspiracy theorist. He throws in random nonsense about P. Diddy, Epstein, Hollywood, and just the cultural machine. Like that has anything to do with what they're talking about. It's the same recycled garbage every right-wing grifter pushes when they have nothing real to say. Then he tries to clown on David Pakman for supposedly losing subscribers, completely ignoring the fact that his own audience has been shrinking for years, ever since he sold out to conservatives. The irony is just off the charts. Rubin literally tanked his credibility just to get on panels like this, and now he's acting like he's above Pacman. It's honestly sad watching him at this point.
Well, look, if it's going to come to that, I'm the biggest rocket in the room, right? I mean, it's like as Trump said to Kim Jong-un, you got your little rocket, I got my big rocket. So let's not get into the size of each other's YouTube rocket.
But that's the smug nonsense. Nobody cares about that.
It's the facts, Dave.
I honestly have no idea what your...
Let me bring in Brian. Let me bring in Brian.
Your views are, but I couldn't care less. I know your ideas are terrible. Like, I don't care what your views are.
I want to play a clip of Donald Trump at the White House today. He's just met Joe Biden, and this is what happened.
Politics is tough, and it's, in many cases, not a very nice world, but it is a nice world today, and I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get, and I very much appreciate that, Joe.
You're welcome.
Now, Dave, I've got to say, kudos to Joe Biden for doing that. Would it not have been better for America if Donald Trump had done that himself 4 years ago? Serious question.
Yeah, I think you can make that argument, but I think we're long past that argument. I would rather focus on what Joe Biden, I think, did right there, and what we now have in a very interesting, 2+ months of the remainder of the Biden administration, where basically Biden, or whatever's left of Biden, or whoever's driving Biden, no longer has to placate to the completely lunatic progressive fringe anymore. And Biden actually could take advantage of some of the reordering that we feel throughout the world right now, not just in America, but quite literally across the globe. And he can actually pave the way for a really nice transition into a Trump presidency that I believe is going to reignite the American dream and bring back an 80s style revolution in America. I think we're going to have a burst throughout the economy. I think it's going to be cultural. I think we're going to get new music and new art and new creativity and new businesses on the forefront of AI and all of these things. And Biden he has 2 months now where he could be like, you know what, we're going to get our 5 or 6 American hostages who are somewhere under Gaza back. We can do that. Like there's a real win for Biden to end up with here, rather than, you ended up with dementia and then ushered in quite literally the worst candidate in American history and placated to the radical left for 4 years when you were sold to us as old, moderate Joe. So Biden, and again, we don't know if Biden's running the show or it's Jill or whoever, but I think there's a real opportunity for him right now to do the right thing and usher in a really strong 4 years for Donald Trump.
Okay, and David Pakman, the appointments that Trump has put forward so far, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will run a new Department of Government Efficiency. I mean, having, the most successful, richest and possibly smartest guy on the planet getting stuck into government bureaucracy, I would have thought that's very popular, isn't it?
And Piers Morgan starts with a weird big rocket joke, which adds just nothing. But somehow Dave Rubin still manages to get offended by it, whining about smugness instead of debating. Then Piers actually asks a decent question about whether Donald Trump should have handled this situation like Joe Biden did. But instead of answering, Rubin just spirals into conspiracy mode, rambling about Biden being controlled by the radical left or Jill Biden. And then he just starts to completely derail, claiming that Biden's last months are an opportunity to usher in a Trump-led 1980s style revival. He's just throwing out buzzwords with no real argument. And then finally, Piers hypes up Trump's government efficiency plan, acting like putting Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy in charge of bureaucracy is some kind of genius move. No pushback, no critical questions. Just another softball setup for the panel to praise Trump.
It's so funny. A Department for Government Efficiency, new department when Trump wants to eliminate departments, and instead of being run by one person, it's being run by two.
But they are going to eliminate, according to Musk, they are going to eliminate dozens of departments, though. So by the end of the process,
he said he's going to get rid of 300 departments.
They're going to get rid of a lot of departments, David Pakman. So, I mean, that seems to me to be a good thing, doesn't it? Or do you think that they should be...
Yeah, listen, in his first term, it was not exactly promises made, promises kept. I'm in a reserve judgment to see what happens. And the reason why, and Dave, honestly, I know we're not getting along here. I do like you. I wish we were still friends. I'd love to get our kids together to play soon. Dave Rubin making predictions... is crazy because his predictions always go wrong. Red wave for Republicans in 2018 didn't happen. 30% black vote for Trump in 2020 didn't happen. Republicans get 54 Senate seats in 2022. I've got a list of 30 Rubin predictions. They're always wrong. So I'm going to wait and see. I can
see why you're looking for new friends, Pacman. I think Piers can attest to this. Being in the business we're in, you're going to get election predictions wrong. I have no problem admitting that. I get election predictions wrong all the time. But when it comes to getting the ideas right, I think I've had a pretty damn good track record on that. And again, you're just illustrating why nobody likes progressives. Your smug, holier-than-thou attitude, it's just disgusting to most people. You think you're the savior for people that want nothing to do with you. And frankly, for all the David Pakman subscribers that want to watch a show that actually is informative and funny and interesting and, dare I say, irreverent, I would tune into the Rubin Report.
And wrapping this up, David Pakman walked into the stacked panel and still made these guys look ridiculous. Piers Morgan played defense for Trump, and Dave Rubin really dodged every argument, and Ben Ferguson's arguments just barely mattered. Rubin tried to clown on Pakman, but all he did was just expose himself as a guy who's always wrong about politics. And when Pacman called him out on it, Rubin just had no comeback, just non-stop whining about progressives. And at the end of the day, this wasn't even a debate. It was a meltdown from the right, and Pacman just completely silenced them. Anyways, if you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below.